Awake, hosts are two, still loading thoughts 1 through 2. Hang out, we'll get there though. This is the Nintopics pre-show. We'll start soon, probably so. Just one more sip, then we'll go. Say hi, lay your questions show. Welcome to the Nintopics pre-show. Grab a snack, take it slow, we're still figuring out the show. Drop your thoughts, let them flow, this is the Nintopics pre-show. Chat's awake, hosts are two, still loading thoughts 1 through 2. Hang out, we'll get there though, this is the Nintopics pre-show. We'll start soon, probably so. Just one more sip, then we'll go. Say hi, lay your questions show. Welcome to the Nintopics pre-show. Grab a snack, take it slow, we're still figuring out the show. Drop your thoughts, let them flow, this is the Nintopics pre-show. Chat's awake, hosts are two, still loading thoughts 1 through 2. Hang out, we'll get there though, this is the Nintopics pre-show. We'll start soon, probably so. Just one more sip, then we'll go. Say hi, lay your questions show. Welcome to the Nintopics pre-show. Grab a snack, take it slow, we're still figuring out the show. Drop your thoughts, let them flow, this is the Nintopics pre-show. Chat's awake, hosts are two, still loading thoughts 1 through 2. Hang out, we'll get there though, this is the Nintopics pre-show. We'll start soon, probably so. Just one more sip, then we'll go. Say hi, lay your questions show. Welcome to the Nintopics pre-show. Grab a snack, take it slow, we're still figuring out the show. Drop your thoughts, let them flow, this is the Nintopics pre-show. Chat's awake, hosts are two, still loading thoughts 1 through 2. Hang out, we'll get there though, this is the Nintopics pre-show. We'll start soon, probably so. Just one more sip, then we'll go. Say hi, lay your questions show. Welcome to the Nintopics pre-show. Grab a snack, take it slow, we're still figuring out the show. Drop your thoughts, let them flow, this is the Nintopics pre-show. Chat's awake, hosts are two, still loading thoughts 1 through 2. Hang out, we'll get there though, this is the Nintopics pre-show. We'll start soon, probably so. Just one more sip, then we'll go. Say hi, lay your questions show. Welcome to the Nintopics pre-show. Grab a snack, take it slow, we're still figuring out the show. Drop your thoughts, let them flow, this is the Nintopics pre-show. Chat's awake, hosts are two, still loading thoughts 1 through 2. Hang out, we'll get there though, this is the Nintopics pre-show. We'll start soon, probably so. Just one more sip, then we'll go. Say hi, lay your questions show. Welcome to the Nintopics pre-show.
Welcome to the Nintopics pre-show, the first pre-show ever in the history of the Nintopic podcast. We are officially live Hello, everyone in chat. Hello, everyone on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, wherever we're streaming. Thank you so much for being here at the pre-show for the Nintopics Podcast. It's a brand new season. Season 5 is about to start in only 30 minutes. Now, before that, the pre-show is meant to set the ground for the actual podcast, okay? Because we have Lilly, Hyrule coming back as a co-host. We got Paul, Great Force Network. We have Joycie J and myself, Mike Odyssey, as the Nintopics Season 5 co-host for 2026. It's going to be an amazing year, and we have a lot to talk about because a lot is new in the podcast. I want to shout out everyone in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. You guys are more than amazing. And the first thing I want to say out there is that, guys, you're about to witness a podcast that you have never seen before, a podcast format that you have never witnessed before, okay? And now imagine a podcast, okay? Imagine a podcast where you have a favorite episode, and that episode has a name, and that episode is like your favorite TV show, and you can go back and watch that episode because guess what? It never expires, right? It's always fresh. It never expires. We talk about nothing that actually expires. That's called being evergreen, right? What's evergreen? Well, your favorite show. If you watch The Office, do you watch Parks and Rec? Do you watch The Simpsons? Do you watch Family Guy? Do you watch any show that you watch, right? It's an evergreen show because you go back and watch it over and over again, right? It's something that you can go back and watch. Well, Season 5 of the Nintopics Podcast is exactly that. We're going to take you on a journey through the world of Nintendo like you've never seen before. We're going to travel back in time. We're going to break down the Game Boy. We're going to take it apart and tell you everything about it. We're going to talk about your favorite games from the past, from the present, and from the future. We are just going to go ahead and break down everything. And every episode will be evergreen for Season 5 of the Nintopics Podcast. And so that's that. I've been planning this show for an entire year. And as some of the co-hosts can tell you back behind the scenes, I've been working really hard on the format, on every episode, everything. Like I mean, it's done all the way to the end of the year. All the way, the entire season is done. And we're gonna go ahead and go over that entire season with you guys. And we have games. We have crazy games. Today, we are playing a game, okay, called Power Up Swap. It's a game that I basically created because I wanted to do something new. But I created the game, but it's more like another way of playing Yankee Swap or Santa Swap or whatever, right? But with Nintendo power-ups. Okay, every episode we'll have a theme, we'll have a segment. We'll be talking about stories. We'll be doing debates. All right, we'll be going back in time and talking about history, and we'll be having challenges like the ones we're having today. And guess what? We even have a show. A segment where we put any game, any character on trial. Literally on trial. We will have a lawyer, we will have a defense attorney, we will have a judge, and you guys will be the jury. And at the end of the episode, you guys determine whether that character, game, or whatever is innocent or guilty. That's how fun this season is going to be. We have a lot crazy stuff planned that I wanted to create a podcast that you can watch over and over again without getting without saying, oh man, this already happened, or that episode is no longer relevant. No, every episode will always stay relevant forever in Season 5. And so this is a pilot year for this type of podcast, and like I said, it's almost like a reboot of the Nintopics Podcast, but it's like a pilot year. We're gonna try it out. We'll see how you guys love it. If you guys love your favorite segment, let's say if you guys like Power Up Swap, like we're gonna do today. If you guys want us to put a character on trial, Waluigi, put him on trial, and we can go ahead and and you guys love a particular segment, we can bring that back throughout the year. You guys will be the feedback. and that kind of guides the show throughout the year. All right. Every single show will be led by a different podcast host, right? Like this, I lead today. Paul will lead next week, and then Joycie the next one, and then Lilly the next one. And so you'll have a podcast lead for every episode of the Nintopics Podcast. That way you get to hear and see everyone, right? And so it's gonna be super fun. It's gonna be super awesome. I cannot wait. Major changes. Now, if you another part of the pre-show is to collect questions. All right, to collect questions and to collect comments, questions, and comments, questions, and opinions. Okay, comments, questions, and opinions. All right. So at the end of the show, toward the end of the show, we have the community power-up moment. The community power-up. Okay. Towards the end of the show, the community power-up. The only questions that will be answered during the podcast will be the super chat questions and the member questions. Okay. If you want a question answered during the podcast, you have to ask it now. So right now, in the community area on YouTube, go ahead there right now. In the community right now, if you have a question in the community area on YouTube, go ahead and write down your question. Okay, go ahead and write down your question. During the show, only super chats and members ask questions. Okay, during the podcast, the podcast will be an hour long. That's why we have a pre-show for 30 minutes. Okay. Now, this is the first pre-show. That's why I'm taking the time to explain to you guys like the new, right? What the new is for the podcast. Every podcast will be an hour long. Okay, between our host, Paul Gale, Joycie J, and the returning great Lilly Hyrule with us, right? An hour long. Every episode will have a different theme. Okay, we'll have a different theme. We'll either go back in time, all right? We'll go back into the time. It's called Time Machine. We'll get into the time machine and go back in time and relive either the launch of the Game Boy, the launch of the Nintendo 64, the launch lineup. We'll go back to in the time machine and relive those days. Okay. We'll even have an episode which is a debate/challenge episode. Could be Joycie and Lilly against me and Paul head to head, debating on who is the best something absurd blippity blip, you know. We'll have those type of challenges, and then we'll have other surprises when it comes to the episodes. Every episode will be completely different, a different theme. We have 4 reoccurring themes in each episode, and then there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot. You'll see throughout the year, but it's your job to pinpoint and select what is your favorite topic, what is your favorite game, and you guys let us know so that we can go ahead and make notes and take notes, and then we can improve the show and make it better for you. The objective of the Nintopics Podcast is to take you away from today and take you on a journey, okay? Because we know there's a lot of news out there. Sometimes the news is like a roller coaster, right? A roller coaster of emotions. It could be bad. It could be good. It could be uncertain. We don't know what's going on. The Nintopics Podcast here, what we want to do, just focus on fun, focus on laughter, focus on the good of Nintendo, right? And so I know you guys are used to podcasts that are led by news. We're not going to have any news in this podcast. We're no news in this podcast. Okay. It's completely Nintendo, like Nintendo, everything, literally everything, right? Maybe you'll discover a game you've never played before because we dive deep into it, right? Maybe we'll uncover the lore of The Legend of Zelda and finally fix it, right? Maybe this is a podcast that will actually fix the lore of The Legend of Zelda. Who knows, right? We have to try it, or else we'll try, right? At least we'll put it on trial. We'll put the lore of The Legend of Zelda in court, and we'll pick a judge, we'll pick a prosecutor, we'll pick a defense, and we'll put the Legend of Zelda on trial to see whether the lore is great. You know, we'll do a lot, but it's gonna be fun. Now, the most important thing you want to do right now, if you want your question answered, right? Because I understand that not everybody can super chat, and that's okay. I've never been one to force super chats on the channel, right? If you want your question answered, it has to be in the community area of the channel, of the YouTube channel. So go to my channel right now, community area. You'll see a big logo, Nintopics Podcast, Q&A. Leave your question down below. When it's time to answer those questions, I will head right there and answer those questions that are right there. Okay. Now, the only questions that will be allowed to be received during the podcast are the super chats, just because those super chats get automatically separated, right? When you super chat a question, it automatically gets separated and it's easy to find right there. It like stream. What is this called? StreamYard automatically sets the super chats questions aside, and so therefore they're really easy to find there. So it doesn't interrupt the flow of the podcast, but it's easy to find there. So if you want to, if you want to, let's say you have a question during the episode and you want it answered in that episode, the only way to answer that question will be by a super chat. Okay, or you can go over to the community area of the of the channel right now. Write your questions. Do it. Stream Duck. Yeah, sorry. I'm like StreamYard, and I saw the duck, and I was Stream Duck? It's not the Stream Duck. But yes, okay. New year, season 5 of the Nintopics Podcast, fully evergreen content, okay? And you guys get to choose, you know, you guys let me know what is it that you like, what is it you like, what is it you don't like. Right now, I'm at the community area. I'm gonna go ahead and refresh here to see if you guys left questions, because I want to make sure that you guys. All right, I see 2 questions so far. I see just 2 questions. Let me see. Thank you, Lilly, for your question. That question will get answered during the podcast. And let's see here. Not Lilly. Sorry, Lottie. And thank you, Doge Pal. Thank you for those questions. We got 2 questions so far, guys. If we only get 2 questions, that's all we're gonna answer. You know, and then the podcast ends right after the questions. Okay, so make sure to write your question if you want your question answered. If you can't think of one, think of a question. It could be a question towards one of the co-hosts, to Lilly, to Paul, to Joycie, to myself, right? It could be a question about a video game. It could be any question, right? Nintendo Switch 2. Any question you guys want to ask, go ahead and leave it in the community area, right? So I'm gonna head there right after the podcast during the community power hour or power minute or whatever, and then get those questions from there. If there are no questions there, then those are all the questions that we're gonna get. Okay, so the podcast itself is an hour-long podcast. Okay, and so there will be no news in the podcast, right? We'll begin the podcast like every other podcast. We'll say hi, how you doing, how we've been doing, what we've been playing, all that stuff, and then get straight into the meat and potatoes of the podcast. If you don't like meat and potatoes, the vegetables, the greens, and all that stuff. All right. It is a brand new year, guys. We are doing something that is kind of brave to do, because, you know, sometimes we have to. YouTube is always trying to get to what's trending. We are trying to control that and give you guys fun content, something that can distract you from the, hey, there's a bad news on Nintendo Switch 2 sales, blah 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 blah. You know, things like that. We want to steer away from that. I know it's happening, but this podcast is for you to just enjoy yourself, like you're watching your favorite TV show. That's the goal of the podcast this year, to make it your favorite podcast to watch at any time, any day. If you want to go back and rewatch a podcast episode, you can, because that episode doesn't expire. Okay. Not only that, but expect a lot of shorts, not pants shorts. I'm talking about short videos. We'll have an edited version out of the podcast, and of course, we'll have a lot of YouTube shorts related to the podcast because trust me, guys, we will have funny moments in the podcast. This year is gonna be crazy. Okay, you guys get to clip your favorite part of the podcast as well. Clip your favorite shorts, your favorite short. Clip your favorite parts of the podcast because this year it's all about laughing. It's all about just having fun. You know, trust me. Sometimes it'll get emotional too because we're gonna dive deep. Okay, there's an episode that has to do with our childhoods. Why do we love Nintendo? Right. Next week, next week's episode is very very emotional as well. So we're gonna dive deep, guys. We're gonna get into this. It's gonna be a new year, a new podcast, and I invite everyone to join us on a weekly basis here. You guys can make it possible. If you like this format, make sure to hit like on the stream. The first thing when you arrive, hit that like, leave a comment, right? Not only that, but we will be doing a giveaway on the podcast, right? And I'm going to be choosing the winners from the reviews on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So if you listen to podcasts on Apple Music or Spotify or Apple Podcasts, guess what? You can enter into our podcast giveaway just by leaving a review of the podcast on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. Every episode will always be on Apple Podcasts, and this is so tongue twisting. Apple Podcasts and Spotify or Google Podcasts. Because I know YouTube has a Google has a podcast also. So every episode is automatically available instantly on the podcast on Google, but it'll be available the next day on the podcast for Apple and for Spotify. Okay, that's another thing that we're gonna hit hard this year. We're gonna make sure that all the episodes are up on your favorite podcast platform, so you can enjoy your podcast on the go. You can come back and watch the video form, and then we can all have a great time. Podcast starts in exactly season 5 starts in exactly this is 8:12. That's 18 minutes. 18 minutes to the start of the Nintopics Podcast. I see here. So if you let me know in the chat, let me know if you have any questions. This is the time to ask questions. I'm looking at the questions over on the community area. We got 4 questions. Thank you, guys. We got 4 questions. So once again, if you want a question answered on the podcast, you have to leave your question over on the community area on YouTube. Okay, community area on YouTube. You can either, if you are a member, you can leave it on the members one. Or you can leave it on the regular chat as well. But yes, if you want your question answered, go ahead and leave your question over on the community area. Or if you would like to also support the podcast, you can super chat your question during the show. Okay. Note that once you do super chat your question, that super chat will be read at the end of the podcast. Okay. So there you have it. Excuse me. By the way, I have a cold. I'm super sick right now. I got my tea here. I've been sick for the past 2 days now. I got sick. And all the energy you're hearing right now is just pure adrenaline from from how excited I am about the podcast this year, man. I'm so excited. We have an amazing crew this year. I'm so happy Lilly is back. She's been a great asset and an amazing friend to the podcast, with amazing knowledge and her contributions are awesome for the podcast, and I'm so excited to have her back. So welcome back, Lilly Hyrule. Make sure to subscribe to all of the podcast co-hosts, support them, leave them positive messages on their videos, like their videos, hype their videos with the little hypey thingies, and so it is Almost time for the podcast. We will start in about 15 minutes. 15 minutes. Pre-show is meant to make sure you guys are leaving questions. We got 6 questions. 6 questions. We will probably close the questions at 10 questions. Okay, so we have 6. We got four more questions open. So make sure to leave your question. 4 more questions to go. We're gonna top it up at 10 questions. That way we don't extend the podcast farther than it needs to be. But we're gonna go ahead and we got 4 more questions to go. So if you want to you want to have your question answered, make sure to head to the community area of the podcast and leave your question there. Or you can always super chat your question during the podcast. That way that the question goes on the side section. Whenever you super chat and you leave a comment, that is automatically separated by the program. And so we can highlight that at the end of the episode. Okay. If you want your question highlighted on stream, that's also a super chat. Okay. We got only a couple minutes to start with the podcast. Let's see here. All right. Season 5 is about to begin. Today's game is called Power Up Swap. You guys are gonna see how crazy it is once I explain the rules of the game. You guys are gonna go nuts. Okay, it took a long time to put this game together, and I cannot wait for you guys to enjoy it. It's gonna be super fun, and this is a game that you guys can play on your own as well, right? You guys can play on your own. I'll make sure that I'll put it aside as one of the Nintopics podcast games. That way you guys can go ahead and play it on your own with your friends and your family, because it's a fun game. Is this like Smash or Pass? Don't know what is Smash or Pass. I've never heard of the Smash or Pass one. Kind of, maybe it could be like it. I don't know, but I've never heard of Smash or Pass. It's similar to Yankee Swap or I don't know what else you call it. Yeah, we have a lot of people sick. It's where you choose to smash or pass a char. That's funny. Well, maybe it's similar. Maybe it's similar because you do choose or you choose or pass. Yeah. I hope you feel better, Nerdy. Hope you feel better too. We'll be good, man. We'll be good. No smash or pass. This is a family friendly. Oh, I mean, is smash or pass like a bad one? I didn't know. I don't know. It's more like you guys, have you guys ever heard of Yankee Swap? That game you play in Christmas. The game you play in Christmas, where you pass the gifts over. And then you can either take a gift or pass the gift or whatever. That is the game we're playing, but we're playing it with power-ups, Nintendo power-ups throughout the entire video game industry. Okay, but I'll explain. I want to explain the rules during the podcast because it's fun. You guys will see. It's gonna be fun. See here. All right, you got 10 minutes to spare. 10 minutes to spare. I think we might be done with questions. Let me check. All right. We got 8 questions in the Q&A section. But it's funny. All right, we got 8 questions in the Q&A section here. We got 8 questions. 10 minutes to the podcast for the podcast to start. Let me go over to the members to make sure to have Let's see here. Post. Okay. All right. Yeah, we got all 10 questions here. We got all 10 questions. Let's see here. Okay. We got all 10 questions. Let me go ahead and banner. Banner. Okay. And that. Let's see here. Okay, we have 10 questions already, guys. All right, the Q&A for the podcast is closed right now. If you want to continue, if you have a question, sorry, if you have a question during the podcast, you can always leave it. You can always leave the question as a super chat. And there's the banners. Okay. Let's see here. All right. So the Q&A is now closed. If you have a question, we can answer that question during the podcast at the end. If it's if you had a super chat, that will automatically take that question and separate it. It stars the question, right? It adds like a little star to it, and it separates it so we can read them. So we got the Q&A. Good job, guys. Thank you so much for all those questions. You guys are amazing. This only helps the show flow so much better, right? Because it doesn't give us any dead air time. We can go ahead and say, all right, it's time for the Q&A of the Nintopics Podcast, and then we can go straight into the questions, which is awesome. I have to admit, I learned that from the Spawnwave podcast. Spawnwave, I watch Spawnwave a lot, and so he in his podcast, when it's time to go to get the questions, he already has the questions ready. They're already ready, right? And so he just takes them from the community and starts reading them right after he finishes talking about segment. I'm like, you know what? I take and learn from everywhere around the internet, you know? And so this is a good way for us to have an hour podcast and use the time well for entertainment and to answer your questions and a whole lot. Now, the Q&A for this portion is done, but you can always super chat your question. If you still want to be part of the Q&A, you can always super chat any amount and just make sure to add your question along with your super chat. That will automatically separate the super chat. It won't interrupt the show. It'll automatically separate the super chat, and it'll be highlighted on at the end so we can read it. So we got about 4 minutes left. 4 minutes left for the podcast to start. I'm going to go ahead right now, and in 1 minute, I'm going to go ahead and end this podcast. I heard Nate predicted it on the podcast. Predicted what? Oh wait, you guys think of the new Joy-Cons are nice. They're not they're not the it's not something to be wild about. It's just like a regular hue change. New intro incoming. Oh, we'll see. Bicentennium. You'll just have to wait and see. All right, my friends. Thank you so much for watching the pre-show of the Nintopics Podcast. I am going to go ahead and get ready for the podcast. We are about to start in just a little bit. And don't go anywhere. Don't worry. Don't go anywhere. This live stream will kick you over to the podcast. If you are watching on YouTube, you don't have to go anywhere. You can stay right where you are. Stay right where you are, because this podcast, this live stream will kick you over to the other podcast, okay? To the podcast live, all right? So stay where you are. Stay right there. Don't go anywhere. Now, if you're watching on X, you're gonna have to switch from this podcast, from this live stream, to the next one on my homepage. All right, or on Lily's page, also on X. I know she's streaming on X as well, or on Facebook. So, if you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on Twitch, if you're watching on X, make sure to catch the new live stream coming up for the podcast. Starting in about 5 minutes. If you are watching on YouTube, stay where you are. You are good to go. That's this live stream. Once it ends, it'll kick you over to the main podcast. All right, friends. I will see you in just 5 minutes for the premiere of the Nintopics Podcast Season 5 reboot / It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be hype. I want to see those hype emojis because I cannot wait for you guys to see what we got in store for you this year. Season 5 starting very soon. See you guys in a little bit. Let me go ahead and all right, peace.